I look at this whole thing, I see people go to these churches. I said, look, you people, can you read between the lines
Unfortunate, man.
and stop following these people? Because I've look at it. If you look at the Bible, when God even called the Israelites, I can't remember when God called Yoruba, called Igbo,
It didn't.
or called the Israelites
It
and
didn't.
called other tribe. He only called one tribe. Why do we? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No,
Why
you
do
are.
we
You
have
are. But
to
a lot of people will disagree with you
default?
because, they see
What
themselves
I'm
as
actually,
Israelites too.
why I'm actually bringing it up is
Hmm.
because these people are religious leaders now. They should be able to read the Bible and understand it. God never brought people together. He only chose the Israelis and said, okay, this is how I want you to live your life.
Hmm.
Can't we just be as Yoruba people and said, let us go our way and live our life the way we should?
The question we keep
They should
asking
also
ourselves, man.
replicate, yes, they should also replicate what is in the Bible and let everybody just go their way and just be happy. Is there anything wrong about that?
Nothing is
And another
wrong.
thing,
Hmm.
that the girl that cried out, the NYC girl that cried out, you can
Mhm.
see how they lead these girls into horrible things. Just imagine that girl cried out. Now we had how she was able actually to
Hmm.
say her pain. We actually could see the pain
Like people,
in her.
people don't even. I don't think the society, right? The society itself is sort of accommodating of people expressing themselves. It's a society where you are expected to be pretending. She said it. She said everybody is acting
You can
rich,
say,
right?
you can, yeah,
Meanwhile, they are going through hell.
the
People
girl
collecting
could,
salaries, right? And they are blowing it within a day or two due to
it's
this
so
inflation.
amazing.
So how can people
Her courage is so amazing that she
see?
could come out there and say
Hmm.
what is in her mind.
Yep.
That girl could just go on the street and sell her body, and
You
and she'll be good,
get.
and
Hmm.
she'll act like every other person that every other person she said.
You
Like
know?
she said, okay, everybody's just faking, being rich. It's okay for her to go and do that. I'm not even going to say, okay, don't do it, because if that's the only way you could survive, which is dangerous, I'm not
God.
going to say don't do it. But she have that courage, and she came up to say things like, it's such. Look,
She
if
didn't even
there's,
see anything
it's
out.
probably,
So I mean, out of
it was
ordinary.
anything crazy.
She didn't see anything
You
bad
can see
though.
how sensitive. Look, Nigerians are they're actually ready to go at this people's neck. They are ready, but they just don't know how to go about it. You know, because if any group of people start this whole crazy thing and said, okay, I want to just chase these people out,
Hmm.
the next minute they'll quench them. The next minute they're shooting at them. The next minute, because we've been so captured in such a way that we can't even Iran. Iran, they still have some kind of
At
breathing
least
space.
now they still have some
They
pushback.
can
They always
face
do.
yeah, they can face their oppressor in a way. Although it's very tight in Iran, but in a way they can still, few years ago, few like about 2 or 3 years ago, just women. A girl, I think she just decided to take off her scarf, and that was what started the
Baba,
protest. They killed the girl, and that was what started
they're
the protest.
triggered there. Now I remember, like all over
You know,
the campuses
so
there at the
yeah,
time.
sometimes when people, Nigerians can't fight back or they're being slow, I really don't can't because I don't even know how they're
It's
going to
what I
start.
know. I know. Anyway, Baba,
Thank
let
you.
me take one
Thank
more.
you. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Thank you
So
very much for not
appreciate
giving up. Some people if they try a few times and they're just like, oh, I don't think I'm going to get through, but you didn't. Thank you so much. Okay, for sharing this with us. I'll take my last call now. Oh, I got. I
it. More
think.
to say
Oh,
things like
that's a
this.
charm.
Look,
She's
if
not. You see, in Yoruba, they say, "Oh, Shomwali, you are not a bastard. You'll be your papa's daughter." Charm, how you doing, ma'am?
Good evening. I'm fine, Michael. Good evening.
Good evening to you. It's good to hear from you again. A lot of people have been asking for you, and yeah, it's like you have heard their calls. So here you are.
I've been watching. I've missed everybody. I've been watching. I've been watching
I
and
can
following. To
imagine,
be honest,
even though you
I
haven't
I
called in,
just yeah, I just let me keep quiet and
just
I'll
observe.
be listening and learning. But I think today two things just touched me.
Hmm.
That young lady, really spoke up and
A
everything.
graduate serving her
Yeah,
fatherland, and there she is,
graduate.
already frustrated. Like, is this the
Yeah.
life I'm going to live?
Is this the life I'm going to live, and everything,
Hmm.
and in fact, I think the what touched me the most is the tone of the woman who was speaking to her,
Oh dear.
which is very, very, typical of Nigerians in authority or people in authority, just talking down to people. You're forgetting that this person is a citizen just like you, and has the right as far as that stupid constitution is concerned, to express her disappointment in that government. She's entitled to that right. She should be able to say this is how she feels without anybody threatening her the way she was being spoken to. And that calls to mind exactly what Dele Farrow to me is always talking about. We haven't defined citizenship in Nigeria, which is why people like her can speak to that young lady the way they spoke to her. Right, with the tone and the no respect, no regard, no
and the
nothing.
dismissal, what you call dismissive approach
The
upon
dismissive tone and
what she said. Like, how dare you? What is wrong
how
with
dare
you?
you speak?
Go and delete it.
Go and delete it, go and remove it. With such, I don't understand it. And this is what we've experienced with Nigerians in authority, even we, as young as we were. Just no regard, no, like as a young person, you should have a point of view. You should be able to express how you feel. Do you understand? And
To articulate your feelings
and be
and
to
express it in
articulate your,
such a way that
and to know that those feelings
the
are
people in authority
valid,
should be able to know that and possibly act on it, but not in that
and,
confusion.
and act on it. Let's take note that this is exactly how your people feel, and then let's do something about it. But because we have a government that is intent on punishing the people, or intent on telling Nigerians that they are not citizens, they are not people, they don't have a right to speak. That is why you can have those crazy, women like that talking to that young lady like that. And nothing is going to come of it. Before we know it, police will arrive at her door. All kind of manner of threats will show up for her. Without actually looking at the substance of what it is that she's talking about, right? And the other point, because I know it's late, the other point I wanted to talk about was, I think yes, we are praising the bishop who went to the Congress, or the American Congress, right?
US Congress, yep.
The US Congress to, talk about what Christians are experiencing, what Nigerians are experiencing in the hands of the terrorists. Because we know that terrorists, they don't feel any headsmen. They are terrorists. That we know that already.
They are terrorists. That's right.
They are terrorists, right? That is all well and good. But I've always said it time and time again on this forum that all this time that we go to spend we go to United Nations and we talk to them, we go to the Congress and to talk to them, we go there to talk to do what exactly? What is the expectation of the Congress? What is our expectation of that Congress? How is the Congress supposed to effect any change in that country?
Like mount pressure on the
okay, all right. Let me help.
Then act to protect the vulnerable.
No. Mayego, let me say something. Let me help. Let me help people understand a little bit of geopolitics. Remember when we used to talk about Biden, and then when Trump now came into power and everything, and I think I said on this forum that their geopolitics for the rest of the world does not change regardless of who is in power. Republicans or Democrats is still the same. What they want, right, is a strong West. The rest of the world be damned. Case in point that we're experiencing right now, that we can see for now, is Syria, right? If anyone is following exactly what is going on in Syria, you understand that the West and the European Union ensured that Assad was removed from that place. Now, Assad is in Russia on asylum, right? And guess what is happening in Syria? Christians are being killed. The Alawites are being killed. There's another indigenous group of people that are being killed, and the so-called extremists.
As well, just before you continue mentioning those being killed in Syria, I was reading a report that is presented by the U.S. government as well. Right? They said when Assad was there, what's that lady's name again? Tulsi Gabbard, or what's her name again? The one,
Tulsi.
Is it Tulsi?
Tulsi Gabbard, yeah.
Gabbard, yeah. So she, back in the day, right, she said the population of Christians in Syria, they put it at 8% or so. And throughout the civil war, where America and the West were trying to remove Assad, like you said, right, they said Assad has been protecting these 8% Christians. Today, the population of Christians in Syria is less than 2% today. So what happened to the others who have managed to run away? Others have been killed. Or continue.
Yes, so all of those people have been killed, right? And they're going to continue to kill them and crucify them. The reason why I bring that up is I was listening to another person who was talking about the same geopolitics of all the rest of the world. When you see countries like that, right? bear in mind that the Muslims in that country never leave places like Syria to go to places like Dubai, go to places like Qatar, to go and say, okay, we're going to make refuge in those places. Neither do those other countries, those, let me just call them United Arab Emirates, but you know who I'm talking about. They do not take refugees from Palestine and all of these other places into those places because those people have the capacity to destabilize. They have the capacity to destabilize governments and things like that, to ensure that no form of development actually happens in those places, which is what America and the West have ensured, that no development goes on in places like Syria. And if development doesn't go on in places like Syria, what it ensures is that no powers will rise up there to threaten them. So they ensure that those places like Libya, right, who they assume as a threat to them, they killed Muammar Gaddafi, and ensured that Libya will never raise its head to be a threat to them. And to be a threat to them, how is if they're able to unite the whole of Africa, right, and change and put Africa on an upward trajectory. That is a problem for them economically, and resource-wise, resource-wise, human resources, mineral resources, in every way, shape, and form, right? We become a threat to them. Now, why I mentioned all of these places, right, is for example, Nigeria. When you're saying that you want them to come and help you, we're exactly where they want us to be. So they're not coming to help you, right? Because you are exactly the way they want you to be. Chaos, right? Poor development. While people are being poorly educated, there is no food. We are hungry. We are dying. There's no form of progress going on. Tinubu was their perfect puppet that they put in place to ensure that Nigeria remains underdeveloped. The situation we have here in Nigeria is exactly the way they want it to be, because then it ensures that we will not pose a threat to them. I believe anyone who thinks that Nigeria is not a threat to, or Nigerians are not a threat to the US, should look at the what they call it, how will I put it, the indexes of where Nigerians are and their makeup here in the West and abroad. You know that if Nigerians should leave America, leave the West in general, that's going to be a problem. Because one, we're one of the hardest workers. We're one of the people that the trajectory for Nigeria is upward. If you want to dispute me on that, feel free to do so. But I'm telling you that Nigerians do well when they are here, and they know it, right? So their intent in America, in the West,
they hold a very good pedestal, no doubt.
Exactly. So imagine if Nigeria was in an upward trajectory. What is going to happen? Most Nigerians will leave. Most Nigerians will leave the West and come back to Nigeria,
right.
And that is going to be a problem for them. There'll be a gap in the market that only those Nigerians with their intellect and their abilities can fill, and they're not going to come back.
The brain drain then. Nigeria is suffering brain drain right now. Now the West, who has invested, well, because we can say that again as well, that they invested in these Africans, these Nigerians as well, right? Education, training, this and that. So if everybody should just pack and leave at once, there will be a vacuum, no doubt.
There will be a huge vacuum, exactly. So when people are talking about, we're going to the United States, great, Trump is there and everything. Trump is a great president for America. He's America's president. He's not the president of Nigeria. And the geopolitics is going to remain the same for Africa. His interest is ensuring that Americans live their best lives, right? It doesn't have anything to do with us.
I'm waiting for, right? Do you know the shock I'm waiting for? I remember the time when during the Trump's first term, right? And then Bukwari was very sick, right? And was so away. And they needed to sort of polish his image again. So they took him to America with about $1 billion. That was how they bought to Kano this and that too. So Trump, Nigerians were like, this one is a man. This man is fake. He's not real. If you go to America, you will see how Trump is going to expose him. I remember that time very well. Charm. Then when he got to the US, he became cozy with Bukwari because he came with money. And like you said, America first. Whatever it is that is even a dictator anywhere, right? America will embrace them, roll out red carpets. Well, the rest of you can go to places in your country.
The rest of them. So I think the reason why I really called today, now aside from that young lady, is let people understand that it is not in the best interest of America or the West to see any African country raise its heads, because that is a problem for them ultimately. Because again, don't forget that we are the ones coming here, filling all these gaps, getting all of this education. They claim that they're training us, but we're the ones doing all the hard work, right? And then you have all your people coming there, and then maybe then one day you have this erudite leader that will come here and change things. All of these Nigerians will go back. That's going to be a problem for them. Right? And then the more educated we are, the more we want to do things for ourselves. They don't want that. I mean, people like David Hidayah have done a deep dive into the things that United Nations have, even the caveats that they put in with regards to the things that they give to us, the so-called loans and whatever. Make sure your schools are not underfunded. Make sure that you are not doing such and such. Make sure you're not in the aerospace, the aero industry, because you guys don't, it's not for you. It's out there. All of this information is out there. The kind of things that they make us do. So you have to wonder, why are our universities so why are universities so poor? Right? Why don't we have our own national carrier and things like that? Why are the frustrating things like Peace Airlines or whatever? Why are they doing all of those things? Why have they funded terrorism in Nigeria? Because bear in mind, USAID, because of George, we now know that they funded Boko Haram, Al Qaeda, ISIS, and all of these places. Even though people like Aisha Yusuf don't want to believe that they have been used, but that's what they call it. A topic for another day. But this is what has
right.
Exactly. This is what has happened, right? So let us not look at to the West and say, oh yes, we're here now. They're hearing our voices. Please understand that when we are in this chaos, when we are where we are, as we are Nigerians experiencing what we're experiencing, this is exactly what they want. This is exactly where they want us to be. So we need to start fighting for ourselves, because we don't want to be here. We want to be able to do what we want to do when we want to do. And I also agree that we do need to separate as a people so that we can, have our own identities, develop those identities, and our own personalities around those identities, nations around those our identities and things like that, and be what we can be. Because as it is right now, we are not, and we will never be if we continue in this trajectory.
Thank you so much. I could give you all evening, but like you said, it's almost late. We are using an extra time so far, but it's worth it.
Thank you, Maigro. I appreciate you for accommodating me, because I know it was really late, but I just thought I'd call.
Yeah, always. I do appreciate your contribution all the time, and our people do that, so they actually appreciate you. So thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the evening, okay? And you have a wonderful one. A wonderful weekend, because it's weekend, isn't it?
Yes, it is. One more day. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much, Chab. So this is where we're going to draw the curtain now, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. We have had our fill. And if you are interested in contributing further to this conversation, remember, you just have to, postpone it to the next time we are on. Dear brethren in the temple of truth, we have delivered this truth package, and again, whatever you make of it is wholly yours. But thank you for sharing your evening with me, as always. I'm going to see you again some other time. But until then, if you joined us midway, you can rewind this and watch it from the start. But if you have been with us all night, please don't leave without liking the broadcast. Thank you so much. I am going to see you again tomorrow from here. Good night.
Ayégún làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Ayégún dáyàrí ayébi nọ́mbà wá.
Ayégún làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Ayégún dáyàrí ayébi nọ́mbà wá.
Ayégún ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Ayégún dáyàrí ayébi nọ́mbà wá.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Ayégún dáyàrí ayébi nọ́mbà wá.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí.
Ayégún dáyàrí.
àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
Máyégún Diary politico.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tójódòdò.
Máyégún Diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wọn.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí Facebook.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
wọ́n bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń gba rìbá.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
òkúrọ̀ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ òní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran.